He did the stare and drive on you, didn't he? He got that from me.
All right, you guys, welcome back. So when I heard our friend Martin was building another Too Fast, Too Furious replica Skyline for his friend Shahar down here in California, I knew eventually I was gonna make it out here to see the car, but I figured it was also a great opportunity to meet yet another Fast and Furious junkie and someone who's really integral in the community down here. So Shahar's gonna show us around the car. He's gonna take us to a couple special locations that I've never been to. I think you guys will enjoy it. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about his collection because he's got a few other cars that you might like. Let's go.
How's it going? My name is Shahar Shan Al-Gassi, Instagram The Vipers Guy, and this is my 1998 Nissan Skyline R34 GTT. It was a manual, stock, single turbo, 5-speed car, pretty basic. Martin and his buddy George, or Jorge, imported from Japan in 2019, I believe, or something like that. And I bought it in 2020. And the plan all along was to do a Too Fast, Too Furious replica, the same as Martin did for Jorge back in the day. I wasn't nervous because I've seen Martin's work on Jorge's car before, and I've wanted to do this car for as long as I can remember myself. It was in storage for about 3-4 years, and that gave me enough time to acquire the body kit, the wheels. Martin designed the wheels. It took like 2 years. So it's a used COS kit that we found in Russia, and it was a mission to get it out of Russia because back then they just started the war over there. My buddy Elshad was helping us getting the body kit out and shipped to Canada. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Martin designed those wheels because we couldn't find the actual wheels, so he designed the actual face as a replica from an HRE wheel, and then we matched it with the lips and barrels, and we did 10.5 inch wide, which is like a GTR basic spec. The paint, it's a House of Color paint, the same paint they used in the movie. We got the front intercooler with the nitrous sprayer. The movie, they had the NOS fogger. We have a nitrous supply. Yep. And I still need to route the nitrous to spray from the sides and not just the intercooler. Wing is a COS wing. We literally installed it the night before we left to SEMA. Me and my buddy Sheer helped me do it. It was probably like at midnight we were drilling and while we were half asleep.
So is this COS wing, they still sell this wing right now?
They still sell this wing.
Wow.
This is a special size that you have to ask them specifically. I think 1550 millimeters or something like that. It's full carbon fiber. They have the bigger carbon fiber stand on it. The car already came from Japan with HKS suspension and HKS exhaust. And then we acquired the Sparco seats. Those are Sparco Milanos. And my friend Alex from MST did a fantastic job doing the interior, and he matched the rear seat to the front. We went to Miami where they have Shamrock, which is the guys that did the actual interiors on the movie cars. And they literally gave us the tours, and they gave us samples of the fabric that they used back in the day on these cars. So we were able to take those samples and match it to some sort of Alcantara that we can have the exact same shade. And they gave us a bunch of photos, and it was just amazing. At the time, I had a bunch of projects going on. I wasn't planning on getting this car to SEMA. The car was just sitting at the storage facility, and then the nice guys from Liquid Moly gave me a call, and they're like, "Hey, is the 34 done yet?" I'm like, "It's not done, but it can be." And they're like, "Okay, can we have it for SEMA?" And SEMA was like maybe a month away. And I'm like, sure, we can do that.
Martin's like, what did you tell them?
And I hung up the phone and literally I called Martin and I'm like, hey, do you think we can make it in a month? And he's like, I think so. I have a couple of cars I have to finish before, but I think we can get it done. And then a week prior to SEMA, I hopped on a plane, went up to Vancouver, met up with Martin. We literally took the car was like bone stock. I landed at 4 p.m. We got there at like 6 p.m. 6 p.m. the car was stuck. We started disassembling the whole car. And for the next 5 days, we never slept. We rented the place, we worked 24/7. We never slept. Martin worked around the clock. I was blocking the car. We had Mike helping us disassembling the car. We had a little surprise that sent us back maybe 4 hours because when we were cleaning the roof, it was a white car, and I guess it's a thing with white Nissans, that it's like a very basic color and very thin layer of paint. So the moment we started cleaning up the roof, the whole paint started falling apart.
Wow, no
so
kidding.
The rest of the car, we kind of sanded down.
Sure.
Some areas we kind of just scuffed it, and then the body kit and everything was like no test fitting, no nothing. Everything just went on the car.
No way, really? Wow. Okay.
I guess that's the greatness of the guys at Seawest that did such a great job on this body kit.
Yeah.
But basically, we got there, we disassembled the cars, doors off, fenders off, hood, trunk, everything. We started painting the inners. I was scuffing stuff. Martin started prepping everything, painted everything outside of the car, and then Martin started painting the door jambs, the engine bay, the trunk jambs. For those 5 days, we just worked around the clock. And I remember getting a call. One of the days I'm getting a call from the guys at Liquid Moly. They're like, hey, is the car ready? The show is like in next week, right? We need it on Monday. I'm like, yeah. And I'm looking at the car and it's like all scattered with parts. And I'm like, yeah, it's like almost there, basically. Everything is like right there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of putting some stuff on. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, great.
Yeah.
So we got all that done. Martin shoot the final layer of clear. It was a Thursday. Left it at the spray booth overnight so it can bake with the heat for, I don't know, 6-7 hours.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Came back to the car. It was 8 a.m. Martin opened the spray booth doors. I fired up the car, and from that moment, we drove straight to LA.
You drove to LA, and you were saying before,
the paint was maybe an hour old.
Nothing, you didn't mask the front at all or anything?
I was afraid to PPF or mask the car or something because the paint was so fresh that if I would try to rip it off, it would take the paint with it. That's how scary I was. So
yeah, you got to take the lesser of two evils at that point.
It is what it is.
Yeah, totally.
Everybody calls it the SEMA crunch, but we made it. 20-hour trip. The car suffered some rock chips and scratches and cracks and whatever, but
yeah.
I mean, it's a driver. It's not a garage queen. It's not I drive it a lot. The next day we took it to LRG Wraps. They did the graphics on it and we drove it straight to SEMA.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah. We have a good friend, today is a friend, his name is Craig Lieberman. He was the technical advisor in the first 3 movies and he shared a lot of information. I want to say a lot of the stuff came from him. I think I've said it before many times, with me, the journey of building the actual car is more enjoyable than actually owning the car.
Right.
I feel like the journey from start to finish, the people you meet, the stories along the way, suddenly you find a bumper and you get to a guy that is like, yeah, I was on set for the film and that's how I got this bumper. Or another guy, I used to work in the industry for the company that went under and they did the body kits on the movie cars and this and that. And it's crazy. Mm-hmm. For me, it's extra special because I moved to the US from Israel 6 years ago and it's pretty fresh for me. The movie was shot in 2001, that's over 20 years ago. So the people that was around here in that time, in that era, that grew up here, grew up on the local LA street racing scene and all that stuff, the thing that the movie back then was representing, it's just mind-blowing to hear those stories. It's just, and that's what does it for me.
100%, I get it. And from here, we drove up the road to a location that likely needs no introduction for most of you, despite not being one of the most popular movie locations from the series. We're about an hour and a half north of Bob's Market and the Toretto House in LA.
That's it, we're rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling. All right, Shahar.
Is this my good side?
We're here.
Just want to say for the people back home, the camera adds 5 pounds and there's like 20 cameras on me. Okay, just...
It's extra.
It's extra.
Yeah, it's the YouTube pounds.
Yeah.
I get it. We're here. We're here at the Fast 7, the infamous final scene. Should we go walk over?
Sure, let's
go walk over. We have, the white Supra and the Charger. Of course, Dom shows up.
Yeah.
And they come to this stop sign right here. Of course, a bunch of donut marks here.
Of course. I mean, people know this is the area, right?
Yeah.
So they're pretty much both of them coming. Thanks. So they're pretty much coming that way and they're stopping here. And after that, they kind of split.
Yeah, so that split section of road, correct me if I'm wrong, is CGI. That does not exist.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, but all of this here, this is exactly how...
This is the spot.
You see it in the movie.
You got Templin Highway and Ridge Route Road.
Mm-hmm.
People who build replicas, it doesn't matter where they at in the world, they love it, they love what they do, they want to relive the moment, that's their dream car. So for them, for the true purists, I think like me, it doesn't matter where in the world you're gonna be, they're just gonna do it. And I've helped so many people and I've seen so many people around the world building those cars, and I can see their struggle shipping parts to the UK and Australia and all those kind of stuff, and it's beautiful in a way to see it. For me, I feel blessed that I'm here, that I'm in LA, that I'm around these locations. It's like being like 20 minutes away from the Toretto's market and just casually go there like twice a month with a different car.
Of course.
It's just mind-blowing, and the love and attention it gets from people and the joy it brings to people when I pull up to those locations,
it's fascinating too. We went to the market last night, and it's funny how the city of LA or whoever was responsible for, they had to completely change all the roads around there. Speed bumps, I mean, there's markings, there's barriers and everything, because people come there and they want to, whether it's parking or doing donuts.
To me, is the wrong side of things. We have a nice group of friends they have a group called Street Racing Kills, where they lecture on this. So I get it, because like you see here, people came here and had some fun. It's not the place.
No, it's not.
And
I get it though.
At the Toretto market, it's definitely not the place to do burnouts and donuts and all that stuff. And it's, you have people living around there. It's kids,
pedestrians, kids.
People go there at like midnight. If I had my baby girl trying to sleep at midnight, somebody's doing donuts in front of the market because it's a movie location, I would be really, really pissed.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a time and a place for it. And California, even though some of your tracks are getting shut down, there are places.
There are places.
You can go.
We got Willow Springs. There's still a lot of tracks around us.
Absolutely. Before we go, I know you have some other cars.
Just a few.
Just a few. And it seems like they're kind of circling in and out and stuff. What was the first one that you built a replica from, and what do you currently have right now?
So the first one I've built was the Green Eclipse, and I've made any mistake possible in the book on it, like wrong body kit, wrong wheels, wrong decals, wrong everything. But that's the car and that for me was the first one I really, really wanted to do, because it meant something for me. Yeah. And from that moment, I just kept going. We did the Spider from Too Fast, Too Furious, the purple Spider.
Yeah, too much chrome.
Yeah, after that we did the RX-7, the FD.
Yeah, Dom's
the
car.
The red one, Dom's. Later we did the Suzuki S2000. We did the Leon's R34 GTR. Mm-hmm. We've built the Jesse's Jetta with my buddy John from Miami. We did the white Civic, the Denny Yamamoto Civic.
That's not a well-known one.
Yeah, we've helped a friend of ours do the red Integra, the Jarul's Integra.
What about Mia's Integra? Has anyone
Mia's
done
Integra,
Mia's
my
Integra?
buddy
Okay.
Rich
All right.
built it from ground up, and he did a beautiful job with it. He owns that car. He built it with his girlfriend.
It's a 4-door?
It's a 4-door.
Good, because I've seen too many. I've even seen. We saw a die-cast model car, fully licensed from
2-door.
Fast and Furious. It was 2-door.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
They did a mistake on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did this one, the Too Fast, Too Furious R34. We did the blue, Bayside Blue Fast 4
Yep.
R34.
Yep.
A good friend of ours was actually, he did the Evo, the green Evo from Too Fast.
Mhm.
So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
He did the blue Camaro, the Yanko Camaro. His name is John also.
Oh, I've met John. I've shot videos with him.
Yeah.
Actually, before I had even known that he was in the Fast and Furious community.
Oh, no way.
And then I found out that he had the heist truck.
Yeah, he
from
had the
Fast
truck
4. Yeah.
from Fast 4.
Cool guy. Yeah.
It's just beautiful to see in the past few years, like how the community of replica builders grew in LA.
Absolutely.
It's just been awesome ever since.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking us to these locations. That's it. Thanks, Shahar. Thanks
Thank
for coming
you for
out.
having me. Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys like Shahar's car. Go check him out on Instagram. He's got a bunch of stuff up there. You're
you so
constantly out at like meets and stuff in the community. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Hit me up on Instagram as well. We'll see you next time.